Is it really true that you can get everything that you want in life? There are a lot of prosperity gospel teachers out there that will tell you that if you just walk in the Spirit, or if you pray a certain way, or if you just give your money away, that you can have everything in life that you ever wanted in abundance. Well, is that really what the Bible teaches, though? And is that the truth of what we experience as believers in Jesus Christ? Now, it's true that the Bible tells us, Jesus told us that if we follow him, we would have life, and we would have life abundantly. But what does that mean? Does that mean that we would get everything that we want if we just simply believe? Well, it comes down to a couple of core questions, doesn't it? What is belief? What is faith? What is it that is required of us as Christians in this walk, in this life of figuring out how to become more like Jesus every single day? And that is the caveat. That is the core issue that is driving the whole discussion we're having right now about, can you have everything in life that you want? See, here's the thing. Here's the heart of the question. Here's the heart of the premise. It's control. Are you trying to control things and manipulate things to get outcomes that you want? Maybe you want a restored or a healed marriage. Maybe you want a relationship to go a specific way. Maybe you're financially broke and you're strapped and you're losing everything and you're trying to hold on to something so tightly that you'll do whatever you think it takes to get what you need or to get what you want. Control is the absence of faith. Control is saying, I don't trust you, God, for the outcome. Control is saying, I'm smarter than you, Lord. Here's the truth. The one thing, and the only one thing, that will get you through this period of your life is that you begin to understand that when you lose control, when you give control 100% to Jesus, that is when things begin to change. It is in surrender to God with all of who you are, with all of what you have, with all of your core being. When you surrender to him finally, then and only then will you find the peace that surpasses all understanding. Then your perspective will begin to change. The things that you want begin to change. The things that are important begin to change. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what they think. You can't even control what they say. Your situation is out of your control. Your boss may have the control. The economy may have control. The people that you're interviewing with for a job, they have the control. If your marriage is struggling, you can't manipulate your spouse into getting what you want. That will only backfire. Do you see where I'm going here? No matter what you do to try to control things will only make matters worse. It's only in surrender and to fully trusting Christ that you can go into that new place of realizing you can have everything you want if you just realize that all you need and all you should really want is Jesus. In Philippians 4:6, we're reminded this. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication through thanksgiving, make your requests known to God. This powerful short verse gives the clue to how we surrender to the Lord. The truth is that when we're trying to control and when we're trying to say, I don't trust you, God, we're actually saying that we're better than God. We're smarter than God. We can get what we want. But we both know that's not true. Anxiety is the antithesis of faith. Anxiety leads to control. Control leads to sin, and sin leads to separation from God. It creates more pain. It creates more fear. It creates more worry. It drives more anxiety. You know, we've got an epidemic in America where people are on drugs, for antidepressant drugs right now at alarming rates. People don't even trust themselves for outcomes, and for good reason, because everything we do causes things to fall apart. When we recognize we don't have control, when we give it to Jesus, it's amazing how things can change. It's amazing how perspective really begins to transform in our mind the way that we think about things. This is why Paul, the Apostle Paul, tells us to be transformed through the renewing of our mind, so that then we will know the good and perfect, pleasing will of God. In your pain, in your hurt, in your worry, be anxious for nothing. Why? Because God has you. He has you right where He wants you. He wants you to trust Him. He wants you to depend on Him. He wants you to know that He is your provider. He is your sustainer. And it may not go the way that you want it to go, but it will go the way that He is determined it should go. And if we just trust Him for the outcome, the results will be so much better and so much more amazing than anything that you can even hope for and dream of right now. Because the truth is, the key to all of this is surrender. Now, how do I know this is true? Because in Luke 14, Jesus says, you cannot be His disciple if you do not daily pick up your cross, deny yourself, and follow Him. This verse, these words by Jesus reminds us of our dependence on Him, that our self-sufficiency is an illusion, that we are going to go through difficult times. But these things, the Bible tells us, are all meant for our good, so that in trusting Him, in going through difficulty, we experience Him, we see Him, we realize what real mercy is, we understand what grace is, we receive love in a way that we never received it before. And in the receiving of love and mercy and grace, it transforms us, it renews our mind, it reminds us that in ourselves we are insufficient for everything, but He is sufficient in all things. His grace is sufficient for me. It is sufficient for you. So my challenge to you today, brother or sister, is if you're going through something, surrender. Give it to Him. And when you do, sit back and trust Him for the result. Maybe today the best thing you can do is nothing. Maybe the best thing you can do is nothing. The best thing you might do is just say, Lord, I take this in my heart and I give it to you. So what do you think? Leave a comment below. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. What are the challenges that you're facing right now? What are the hurts and the struggles and the trials that you're going through? How do you need to, or how do you want to feel that God is doing something in your life to make you more in the image and the likeness of Christ? Because the Bible tells us that we may not get everything we want in this life, but all we need is Him. That's it. And it's all that He ever wanted for us. You can have everything in life you ever wanted if you just realize that all you ever needed was Jesus.